My name is Leonidas Hamza, and this is my story. What I'm here to share with everybody today is a story not of my life, but a story of present events. This is not a script, this is kind of planned. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, but did not know how to start it. I didn't know where to start it. So I decided to start it this morning at 4 a.m. here at my gym where I live at. The good thing is people don't really work out where I'm at, where I live, and so it's empty 90% of the time, if not 95% of the time. So here's what I want to talk about, and here's what I want to start advocating for. My company is called Hamza's Advocacy, but I also have another company which is called Conscious Healing. Conscious Healing is based off of herbalism, so more importantly, nutrition. I had spent many years, nearly 11 years, studying not only herbs, but chemistry, biology, anatomy, physiology, so on and so forth. All of this means more to me than nearly anything in my life. But when it comes to herbalism, when it comes to these things, here in America, it's frowned upon. Herbs are frowned upon. Alternative healing is not mentioned, nor is it legal. Same thing when it comes to nutrition. Nutrition isn't talked about when we go and visit a practitioner. It's just one of the last things, if not ever, talked about. And nutrition has everything to do with our diseases or diseases in our body. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because the reason I started doing what I'm doing now is partially because of herbalism, because of it not being legal, because of it being frowned upon in the United States of America. I started studying law, and it's been 3 years. And as of now, I am a attorney in fact, is what it's called. You have attorney at law, and you have attorneys at fact. Basically, I'm an attorney at fact over what has been conspiracized as well, it's the all capital name. The all capital name, it's a big conspiracy that it's this trust from the Social Security Administration that it's this dead entity and all these other things, which partially it's true. It's not a trust. It is a sole proprietorship. It's a business. Our social security number is the EIN of the business. And basically what I've done is I've reclaimed with a durable power of attorney that I have control over this sole proprietorship. I am not this sole proprietorship. I'm not this all capital name. I am the lowercase name. And here's another thing that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. I changed my name legally from Tony-David Leonard, agent of the trust, or all capital Tony David Leonard. I changed my name legally to Leonidas Hamza. The judge looked at me a little crazy because I did specify that I wanted my middle name now to be a colon with 2 dots. And this is because of syntax grammar. But I'm not even certain now how confident I am when it comes to parse syntax grammar, because it's very out there, and I understand where it's coming from, but it was also created by another individual, David-Wynn Miller, and there's a lot of information out there about this individual and his co-conspirator, which is, I can't remember the other guy's name, honestly, but it don't matter. However, I'm going to leave my name as it is because I do understand the syntax and the linguistics behind all of this, so Leonidas colon Hamza. So basically, as a pro se litigant, I have a civil complaint which I'm working on right now. This civil complaint it states that the petitioner, which is the all capital name Tony David Leonard, because that was the party that was harmed, and is being represented by Tony David Leonard, agent of the principal, or RE in box form, Leonidas Hamza. Now this honestly might choke up the court a little bit, and they might try to call me a sovereign citizen, which is fine, as long as they do that based on the definition of a certain case. They can do so. I believe it's Roger B. Taney from the Slaughterhouse cases is how he defines sovereign citizens, and if that's the case, that's fine. If not, if it's based on another term, then I will go ahead and say that it basically is Rule 301. It's presumptuous. I will have to go ahead and prove that I'm not this sovereign citizen under their definition. But anyways, I have wrote a civil complaint. Anytime you write a civil complaint, you need a cover sheet. And this is things I've learned. I've learned this by reading all the civil rules of procedure, the civil rules of evidence, the judicial canons. All of these things, they are what actually makes a court work. I thought a court was about law. I thought it was about constitution. I thought it was about the UCCs. And really, those are the things that you put into your civil complaints. Those are the things that you list in your motions. But when you're in court, when you're playing ball on the court, you're using codes. You're using codes to guide you. You're using codes against, judicial canon 2, which is the judge can't be biased against you because the other lawyer is a big corporate lawyer and you are a pro se litigant on behalf of so on and so forth. And then you have the Federal Rules of Evidence, which Federal Rules of Evidence teaches you how to file a complaint. It teaches you how to, the fonts and the spacing, and it teaches you about the motions, and you learn about the pretty much the civil procedures when it comes to litigation. And then you have the civil rules of evidence and what is considered evidence and what is not evidence and what can be admitted as evidence. And these are very important key factors, and I know there's a lot more to learn than what I am letting out right now, but I'm going to keep it very surface level because I don't want to go too far into this yet. But what I'm going to do, I have a binder, and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to make a video, and I'm going to record and read all of these that I have made. I've made these. I made all these rules, all the evidence. I made a binder of everything, so this way I can take it not with me only to court, but also I can study it, which I do relentlessly. So, back to the civil complaint. We have on the complaint, and then we have defendant. I won't call out the defendant, not yet. I don't know. It may happen here in the near future where they might try to make me sign a non-disclosure agreement. So that'd be an NCA, non-disclosure, NDA, I'm sorry. But anyways, like I said, this ain't scripted, so I'm just, I'm figuring things out as I go, but I'm pretty sure I got the handle on the gist of things, and I know exactly what I need to do and what I'm going to do. And so once I get this civil complaint going, basically what has happened is, there's the reason for this civil complaint. I can get into the fact that, we the people, we got to first understand the definitions of people and persons, and we'll get into that sometime, because we're not actually who we think we are based on the eyes of the law, which is why we walk into court. We need an attorney, we need a lawyer, because technically we're infants of unsound mind, which is very true. Majority of people only have a second grade reading level, and I could say that I'm surpassing that because I am studying not only relentlessly at home on my own. I am also going to school. I'm studying English and psychology and sociology and humanities, and I'm writing relentlessly. So I'm surpassing that because I'm coming to an understanding of words. I'm not just reading to read, I'm reading like a writer. I am not just reading just to get it over with. I'm stopping at every word that I don't understand. I'm finding out the definition, the etymology, the legal definition, everything in every direction. And then I come back and I fit it into the paragraph or fit it into the subphrase or whatever it may be, and I make sense of the whatever I have at hand with the new founding definition. And so, anyways, this is why, like I said, we need lawyers and attorneys, but we also have a responsibility, and our responsibility is the ability to respond. Now, our ability to respond is based on the level of knowledge we have. Now, it's your responsibility to go out and to understand what I'm talking about right now. Anyways, let's get back to the complaint. We get back to the complaint. The reason for this complaint was that I rent from a company. Again, another company. I already did this before, actually. I rented from another company. They took me to court because they were trying to evict me. I humiliated myself. I made myself a gesture in the courtroom, and I will humbly admit that, and I'm ready to reprimand myself here soon in the same court, possibly with the same magistrate. I'll see how this goes, and I will make my formal apology to His Honor, and hopefully him and I can move forward, and he can have some respect for me, and I can grow respect and responsibility from what I learned from him. So I'll go back in this courtroom based on the fact that I at this company that I rent from, I tried to assert my rights. Okay, I tried to assert my rights. I don't know if it matters why I was trying to assert my rights, but I will tell you that I drive my vehicle without a license, nor do I drive it without plates. I have registered my vehicle to a private irrevocable trust, and I have a DOT number that says I have the right to travel. I'm not driving, I'm traveling, and these are things that so you have a state citizen and a United States citizen. I'm not going to get too much into this. This is stuff I will get into over time. But there's a difference between a state citizen and a United States citizen. And the simple fact of the matter is that a United States citizen is a freed slave from the 13th Amendment, and a state citizen is a free white person by definition. As horrible as this sounds, I am not only a free white person, but so are many others. Everybody else is a free white person. I don't care if you're black, if you're brown, if you're yellow, if you're blue, green. We are free white persons. None of us came from slavery ship. None of us had, besides now, we have masters, unfortunately, but none of us came from the 13th Amendment slavery ship. So, I guess, long story short, find out the definition of free white person, look in Black Laws Dictionary, 4th edition, 5th edition, 6th edition, and so on. Look at these definitions, understand that you are not who you think you are. And anyways, back to Mercy Housing. I keep getting carried away, but there's all these little sub things we'll get into as I create more videos. And so what happened was I don't have a license because I consider myself not just only as a free white person, I consider myself as a state citizen. I domicile here in the state of Illinois, and I'm not a resident. To be a resident would say that I'm a United States citizen. United States citizen is the freed slave from the 13th Amendment. It was never ratified. The 14th Amendment was never ratified. Doesn't exist. So therefore I did not have license. I don't have plates on my car. Do now because I sold my vehicle to somebody else and they put the plates in their name, and it was a whole conundrum I had to go through just so my vehicle would not get towed. But now that this person has my vehicle in their name, I can drive again and I can leave my vehicle on the premises. However, I tried to express my rights, my legal rights to the property company, and instead of them actually listening to me and trying to help me, they retaliated against me, wrote me a lease violation, said I threatened, harassed, bullied, etc., etc. I did neither of the things. And so basically, a rule of evidence 301, presumptions. This is a presumption. They presume that I did these things. And if I did not rebuke these things that they said, then they would stand as truth in law. So therefore, I have now the responsibility, again, the ability to respond if I feel the means to do so, and I think that it's worth doing so, and I do. It's absolutely worth doing so. I have the responsibility to stand up for myself, and not only myself, but the other people that live here at this apartment complex, because a lot of people are not doing that. A lot of people are kind of sitting down and allowing this whole corporation to walk over them, and I won't allow that to happen anymore, especially that I myself am not a vet, but the mass majority that live here are veterans of the United States of America, and this corporation cannot treat these people like this, not the way that they are. And maybe it's not the corporation, maybe it's just the agents they have working up here, which they call the property manager and the assistant property manager. Perhaps it's just them. I thought it was until I reached out to the higher management, and I reached out to corporation, and I have not had a resolution. It's been now 80 days, or I apologize, it's been 100 days now. So I've been keeping track of every day. It started June 6, 2025, and I've been working on a procedure ever since then. And because of no resolution, let's use the proper lingo here, and because of no resolution, I had basically, I talked to the property manager, I talked to the assistant property manager, I talked to another area manager, I didn't really talk one-on-one with corporate, but I emailed them everything that they needed. I sent them I sent them an affidavit, I sent them 2 exhibits. Exhibit A was it was president, is case law, and then Exhibit B is the lease violation itself, and on top of all that was the affidavit of truth, stating what was being said, and it was stating what I was refuting, and it was asking for a simple prayer of relief. And the prayer of relief here was that all I wanted was just an apology letter from the management and the corporation itself, and I want a written confirmation that this false allegation was removed from my profile. Okay, but that didn't happen, so I spoke with the area manager for weeks upon weeks. It was almost 8 weeks that I spoke to her through email. After I spoke to her and had a phone conference, which was 28 minutes and some odd seconds, she said it was okay for me to mail her the affidavit and the exhibits, and she would have them looked over by her regional, their attorney, the corporate attorney, and all this. And yet again, still no response. So finally I said, enough is enough. They're not taking me seriously. So I sent them an intent to sue. An intent to sue is very important, because when you go and step in front of the magistrate, you want to let the magistrate know that you have clearly expressed your rights. You have taken the necessary steps, and this is also based on the rules of evidence or the civil rules of procedure as well. They want to know that you took these proper procedures, you notified, you did what you were supposed to do, and now you need the court to mediate between you and the corporation and the other litigants. Defendants, I should say. So I did that, and I sent them an intent to sue. And the intent to sue, everything kind of got even heavier. And I warned her that things could get heavier if you do not take me seriously, if you do not take matters seriously, they will get heavier. So not only do they have the first demand, which was to write a letter of confirmation saying that the least violation was not valid, it was false, and it's now removed from your record. 2, I just wanted a written apology, and now 3, I demand money. Now I'm demanding monetary relief because this has caused there's breach, duty, and damages. You have called there's a breach of contract, there's a duty here that you had based on the contract, and now there's damages, stress, duress because of fraud and extortion. And there's many other ways to look at this, and I will read over the whole complaint. I will read over everything, and I will share what I've done, the way I'm doing things, why I am doing them the way I am doing. It's going to be very interesting because not a lot of people stand up as pro se litigants and express their rights because they really don't know how to. Like I said, the majority of people think that this is about law, getting into the courtroom yelling I'm a free man and all this crazy sovereign stuff. That's not me, not anymore. It was me when I went to my first case. Like I said, humiliation brought a lot of it reprimanded me. Humiliation humbled me. It made me look inside myself like, okay, I am the problem. I was the problem. I deserved everything that happened. I deserved the way that everything went. I acted like a fool. I acted like an infant of unsound mind. I proved to the court why they don't like pro se litigants. I proved to the court what a sovereign citizen by their definition is. So I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay with what I did and where things are now, because my belief now is that I have not only come back wiser, humbler, stronger, and confident. I just believe that this is going to work out for the best. I believe that I don't need to be an attorney, not a bar card lawyer. I don't want that. I have anticipated on going to law school. However, one of our greatest presidents to ever exist was Abraham Lincoln, and he taught himself law at the age of 25 years old. And later he was admitted into the Bar Association and became a bar card lawyer before a politician. So, who knows? I'm not saying I want to be involved in politics. I stand with the law and enforcing the law and expecting the judiciary system to follow the judicial procedures. And that's where I stand right now. So who knows? I'm only 31 years old, and I have time to go to law school. I'm already getting my associates and learning how to properly articulate myself and learning how to properly express myself. I am facing a lot of demons, per se, and I'm not only correcting them, I'm putting them at bay to be used and taming them for proper scenarios. But we won't get into the psychological things right now. I just wanted to come on here and express what I have going on, what I plan to do going forward, and how these videos perhaps will be. I don't think I'm going to necessarily do this for other people. This will be for myself. This will be like my journal, essentially. And I will just make logs here and there, and eventually I'll just come back and listen to everything. And the reason for this is so I can hear my own voice. And when you hear your own voice, you start to it downloads all this information that you're trying to remember. I want to go over the civil rules of evidence, the civil rules of federal, well, basically it's the federal rules of evidence. It's the federal rules of civil procedure. It is the judicial canons. I want to go over these particularly because I want to listen to them over and over and over again. I want to remember all the judicial canons, all of the codes of evidence, and all the rules of evidence or procedure, civil rules of procedure, and all of the court rules, because I'm here. Where I'm at is the 5th Judicial Court, And so I need to learn how this goes. And last, I guess I want to say is that I don't particularly even, I wouldn't mind if things did not go the way I anticipate them going in this court. And the reason it is because I think that there's some potential here to go to a higher court. And so if things are basically, if there's a motion to dismiss and the magistrate follows through with it, that's okay. I will go ahead and I will do my best to fight it. And when I do that, my plan is to go ahead and go to the 5th District Appellate Court and appeal the decision based off of I'll use judicial canons to say the judge was biased and so on, or whatever the case may be. And then after the appellate, if the appellate goes ahead and turn it down, then I'll go to the Illinois Supreme Court. My ultimate goal is to go to the United States Supreme Court. That's my ultimate goal in life. I want to take a case to the United States Supreme Court, and I want to prove the fact that the 14th Amendment was never ratified. And because the 14th Amendment was never ratified, the United States citizen does not exist. And because the United States citizen does not exist, that means all the things to come with the United States citizen needs to go away. Because everything that was put into play in the system here in America was to guide and control the United States citizen. The police department, not the sheriffs. The sheriffs were already here, but the police were built and put into play for and to control the United States citizen. The IRS was put into play to control the United States citizen. The FBI, CIA, all these other, it's not the government. They're all sub-corporations of the government. And that's basically the whole purpose of what I'm doing. I'm tired of these corporations infringing upon our rights. As citizens, we should stand up and be like, okay, enough is enough. We are the government, okay? And it even says so in the Constitution. Now, the Founding Fathers may not have been that great of people, but they wrote some pretty good things that fall in line with the Most High. It's very biblical in this sense. And we got to stand upon our grounds, and we got to say enough is enough. These corporations cannot infringe upon our rights. Their policies do not supersede the law. The law is the law. We are the law, and we are here to enforce the law. Okay? As men and women, we have a responsibility, and that responsibility is the ability to respond. And the only way you can have the ability to respond is by becoming knowledgeable, by becoming aware, by humbling yourself, facing your humilities, becoming stronger and wiser, and so on and so forth. Learn to articulate yourself, study the definitions of words, and prepare. All right. Peace.